All right. Peace to the family. Peace to the family. Greetings. Good afternoon to everybody in the building. This is your brother Red Pill reporting live and direct. This is an early show while the sun is out. Yes, indeed, my friends. We are here in the building. Like we told you last night, we will be back today on Friday. Okay, Friday. This is Friday. This is Third Eye Fridays. And this is going to be featuring your brother, your brethren, them, Brother Blue, Brother Red Pill, and my special guest, ALKEBULAN44. Yes, my friends. How are you doing today? Pleasure to see you and talk to you and things of that nature. Let's start it out by doing a roll call. Let's see who is in the building. We're going to be, it's not going to be a 3-hour show. It's not going to be super long. I ain't going to hold you. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to hold you for hostage for too long. We're going to touch on some things that are going on. And then we're going to get to it. You know what I mean? We not beating around the bush. You know what I mean? We're going to get right to it. You talking about? So, yeah, what's good? What's good? Peace, peace. Yeah, I see y'all in the chat room. What's popping? How's everyone doing? I see, yeah, y'all just getting off of work, just getting off the JOB and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Letting your hair hang out, letting your hair down. You know what I mean? Sure, good. This is Memorial Weekend. What are we looking at? A 3-day weekend? Mm-hmm. Is it a 3-day weekend on us? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Time to get the motherfucking time to break out the the 4 logo. Houston in the building. Shout out to Houston. Kansas City was really, really good. He's from NC, San Francisco, the Yay area. I see you. To this Maclana. Wait, Maclana. AKA Mactown, Georgia. Yes, that Conscious Connections conversation with Supernova Slum was fire. To this house way. To this house way. Take a few steps back. You ain't got the answers, man. You ain't got the answers. That part. Y'all getting a indication of the levels of conversations that we intend to bring to the family when we dealing with the Conscious Connections. Because it's not just going to be conversations, you know what I mean? We eventually going to get together and shift the paradigm and shit like that. But before we even commit to doing some adult things like that, we got to have some adult conversations with some adults. Brooklyn in the building, home team. That's right. Yeah, home team. Stone Mountain, I see you. Norfolk, what's popping? CT, CT, Jersey. I see you, Jersey. Your Queens up in this. Yeah, that part. Queens. What's popping, Queens? Yeah, Oakland, Oaktown, Town Bidney. To this day. Town Bidney. To this day. I mean, if you didn't see the episode from Mañana, right? That was a bonus for all of my Third Eye Thursday fans and whatnot. For the, that was a bonus right there. We switched up the energy and we had a grown man talk. You know what I mean? If you didn't tap into that, it's on the page. It's waiting for you. Pomona, California, Denver, up in here, St. Paul, Minnesota, Twinnesota, South Carolina. Cold as Minnesota, cold like Minnesota, cold like Minnesota. Yeah, I see you. Somewhere in the Caribbean, talk that shit. Pop your collar. You know what I'm talking about? Beach is giving me beach chair. It's giving beach chair. Talk that shit. Southwest Dade County, Chicago. Oklahoma in the building. Shout out to Oklahoma. Philly. One be yeah, Mystic Philly here. I see you, Philly, in the building. Yeah, so St. Louis, the Lou, the A. Shout out to the A. I put it out there earlier. I'm currently uploading Instagram video that I did earlier with ALKEBULAN. It was one of those. It was giving me legendary. So I was like, I need to just throw this on the platform because I'm under the impression that some of y'all that follow this page, y'all don't even know about the Instagram. So we cover both bases, and it was a fire conversation. We had we was going in Oklahoma, Philly, ATL, yeah. And I said in that live that we're doing a ceremony. If you're not familiar, if you're familiar with I did a few shows, 2 shows to be exact, where I brought Shaman Dooley on board, and I brought Nikki Morgan and another sister, Nikki, with the sound bowl healing and whatnot. And there were a few other goddesses that were accompanying them. They are currently in Atlanta doing ceremonies. They started on the 24th and they end tomorrow on the 28th. I was tapped into a ceremony last night, and I'll be in one later on today. So with that being said, if there's anybody from Atlanta that want to, link up and be a part of that, you would have to, I'm going to put the flyer up. You'll be able to get a ticket, and you'll be able to pull up. But I promise you, I shit you not, in the name of healing and in the name of upgrading oneself and in the name of tapping in with a tribe that you can trust, that you can feel comfortable around while you're purging or while you're going through your healing modalities and whatnot, this is it right here. This is the place. This is the place to be. I'm not on StreamYard, so I can't just throw my email out there. But my mod is gonna put the email, Destiny with the wrench next to her name. She'll put my email in the chat. If you're interested in pulling up, hit them on the email. You know what I'm saying? Hit mine like red pill upon the email, and I'll hit you up with all of the information, like the link and whatnot, and we'll take it from there. Okay. I'm just extending myself, you know what I mean, to the people that are out there who may need that type of assistance. I'm really I'm being big bro right now. So, you know what I'm saying? Y'all make sure y'all tap in. But I definitely want y'all in the building, in the motherfucking building tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, okay? Eastern time in the rising. I need y'all to be in class with me and this good brother ALKEBULAN, because we've been in the lab growing gray hairs, you know what I'm saying? Breaking atoms and whatnot, deep diving, going in, breaking books open, doing all of the things that researchers and scholars do to prepare ourselves for this upgrade that's going to take place mañana. And I want y'all to be able to be in the building for that. I want y'all to witness that. I want y'all to be able to feel the energy, feel the information, see the information. There's going to be a visual presentation by way of my guest for tonight, and that is our good brother ALKEBULAN44. So without any further ado, I don't want to hold y'all. Like I said a minute ago, I'm gonna open up the floor and bring in our guest for today, our good brother ALKEBULAN, the Don. Whoa, that part. Peace, God.
Peace, God.
You
can see. Okay, I just want to make sure I was good with the people. You can see me.
Yeah, the minute you start talking, you pop up.
Yeah, no, shout out to the family. Me and Red just had a super monumental build on the live. We was tapping into different sectors relative to, self-value, setting up a reward system in the community, penalty system in the community, holding each other accountable, right? Because again, if we're talking about building a community, we got to be able to have some rules and regulations when it comes to that. We don't want niggas coming in there who, tend to leave their morals at the door and think they're gonna, swindle their way in and, create havoc within the community. So, yes, we are in the process of, really redesigning what we deem the conscious community, because, it needs a fixer upper, right? It needs a certain level of, a structure right?
Yes,
So,
yes.
you know, we need to do that. You know, we need to be able to put ourselves in a situation where we begin to, you know, put certain people on a pedestal who's out here really doing the work. And also too, you know, a test system. You know, are you really fit? And is your mind really equipped and strong enough to really, you know, tap into these type of fields and really conjugate with you know, individuals with a higher level of intellectual property, you know? So it got to come with a level of checks and balances. So, you know, that lie that we just did, family, if you do, make sure you tap in. And yeah, you know, we're
Yeah,
gonna touch.
that's successfully uploaded to the channel. I made sure to throw that up. So
Okay.
that's there for their viewership, for their viewing pleasures and whatnot. When they finish this live that we got, it really will just be like it will be seamless after you finish, or after we finish this build, it would just go seamless into the conversation. But I highly recommend that high level conversation. It'll raise your eyebrows. It'll get you charged up. It'll get you prepared for what tomorrow has to bring. You know, these are just preludes. Yeah, I mentioned that the brother just mentioned the systems that we are working arduously to re-implement into our quote unquote network, or rather into this system, you know, in order for this to correct itself. All right. So, you know, to be seen as a thought leader, or to be seen as an influencer, or to be seen as what they call a master teacher, whatnot, that comes with obligations. It's not just a role that you could just run around with and abuse or wear and whatnot, but it actually comes with responsibilities. One of the responsibilities is to restore what was broken, right? One of the responsibilities is to admit that some things are not necessarily working the way that they were intended to work. One of the responsibilities is to put yourself out there, regardless of what the backlash may be, going up against all odds. Because remember, if we implement systems in its communities, we're going to mess up some people's bags. We're stepping on toes and whatnot, and we're disrupting the structure of this deregulated zone that's called the conscious community, where nobody is being held accountable for anything whatsoever, not even their study, not even what they're saying out of their mouths. You know what I'm talking about? You could say anything at this point. Yo, I was having a conversation with Winnie the Pooh. Nah, you know, not the regular Winnie the Pooh, the savage Winnie the Pooh. You know what I'm saying? Winnie the Pooh, the driller and whatnot. And I channeled Winnie the Pooh. And what Winnie the Pooh had said was that if we was to focus on honey, right? Because honey comes from the Palladian Empire, and it was sent down by way of capsules through the Sirius A star system. Like, fam, there's no way to validate a lot of shit that I'm hearing out here. There's no way to, you know what I mean? You just got to really believe in a person. And then that aspect of believing in somebody and having no grounds to really do the research and stand on it, that leads to what we call the virus of vicariousness, right? Where because you just taking somebody off of whatever they say because you want to believe them, then you find yourself later on down the line defending the foolishness. You know what I mean? Defending the shit that they can't stand on, defending something that you can never prove. You know what I'm talking about? Because you like somebody. And it was never really a time that I could recall that we were basically standing on facts and information and consciousness, and we were backing up one of our master teachers, or we were standing tall because we liked somebody. This is not about liking, my friends. You feel me? We're not in high school. We're not in the fucking playground anymore. We're not at the lunch table. That's that type of behavior is admissible in school and whatnot, but we're no longer there. We're on the world stages, and we're going up against evil geniuses who don't rock like that. That's not what they stand for. They stand for formulas that actually work. They're like, yo, this is Web3. This is a smart contract. We put this shit together. This is the blockchain, and the shit works. It's functional. It's not theory, and it's not speculation, and it's not people pulling things and trying to negate shit that works to have you believe in shit that they want you to think, and none of that works. They can't prove it. Slight feedback on the mic. Yeah.
Right. No, that's true. Again, we grown accustomed too much of, following suit and following just teachers in general and people that we look up to, and that's, again, because of the fact that we've lacked and lost the ability to value ourselves. So we live vicariously through a lot of these teachers and individuals. And then once we acquire a certain level of information from them, then we want to claim that the information that we're getting is of our own. And we begin to demonstrate and preach and regurgitate information that's already been recycled. So you see the lack of originality in this community. Again, you see a lot of people just cherry picking off of certain information, putting it together in their own, unique way and delivering it as if it's something that's valid. You know what I'm saying? And they're getting over on it. And a lot of people are buying into them because people like the personality. So, if you're boisterous and loud and, and all of these things, that stimulates a level of emotion within the audience and that gets them riled up. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, again, it's an emotionally driven thing. A lot of men out here are, estrogen based, they're working off a lot of feminine energy and they tend to want to look up to individuals as opposed to look up to themselves. So, my thing is, making sure before you claim to be a leader per se, make sure your foundation is solid. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you're treating your spouse right. Make sure you're seeing your kids. That's number one. You know what I'm saying? There, and everything sprouts up, and people will feel your energy. Again, like we've talked about in the past, like, it's easy to spot the ones who aren't really about, what they talk about. And we can tell because their foundation isn't solid. We don't even have to see the foundation. We can just tell by your demonstration and your level of a bravado that you present that, you're doing that to overcompensate something that you lack behind closed doors.
Facts.
So, it's, again, we need to create a system where there's some checks and balances and, really hone in on, again, honoring the individuals who's out here really putting in that work.
Right. And the three systems that we're working on is the value system, bringing back value to those of us amongst us who should be their name should carry more weight and they should be valued for what it is that they've brought to the community, from the master teachers on the way up to the master students and things of that nature. Right. The next system that we're talking about is the reward system for those of us that put in the work, for those of us that are doing the work, for those of us who are carrying a lot of the people in this movement on their shoulders and whatnot. They deserve to be rewarded, not just with a pat on their back, not with a handshake, none of that superficial shit. They need to be rewarded in real time with the type of resources that will help elevate and push them further and make them feel appreciated, so they don't have the quote unquote inkling to either leave the community and join another one or to go rogue. Because to be really 1,000 with you, a lot of the shit that goes on in this community is because of rogue agents. And I've seen one of the agents go rogue. I witnessed it in real time. He got defeated in a debate and it was like the people were laughing at him. And the next time that he popped up, he was a rogue agent robbing the people and fleecing the sheep and whatnot. And you niggas had to pay because you laughed at him. And he's been putting his foot upside. He's been putting his foot up these niggas' ass in this community ever since then. I've seen situations where individuals did not feel appreciated in the community and they went rogue and they joined the side of the Europeans and whatnot and start banging on their own people. I've seen situations where men had situations where they fell out with the opposite gender and whatnot, and then they went rogue on the black women, and then they got down with the men going their own way in the red pill movement and started this toxic masculinity run and start throwing women under the bus. They became serial killers when it came to bodying these women online. Rogue agents. Rogue agents. And then the next system is penalty system. The fact that consciousness, like crypto and other things, are deregulated and there's nobody to answer to. There's no accountability whatsoever. It's the wild, wild west. People are running rampant and running wild and whatnot. And they don't have any elders they're not attached to any master teachers, any elders. They don't have no council of elders. They don't even have organizations that they have to answer to and whatnot. They're rogue. So they're able to do whatever they want to do. And as a result of that, there's a lot of people who've been disgruntled and, you know, just been done dirty. So that's the mission. We'll further touch on that mañana in class and whatnot. That's a part of my opening up where I'll be talking about the virus of vicariousness, living through other people and whatnot, not finding your originality, not setting off, not tapping in so you can have a divine spark. You know what I mean? Not taking advantage of the plethora of opportunities, the plethora of spaces to be filled, the plethora of voids to be filled, the plethora of you know, roles that you could easily just step in. You know what I'm talking about? Like, that's really here for you. But, you know, people tend to take the easy way out, and we're going to call that out. We're going to shine a light on it. You feel me? And we're going to move in a more positive direction to whereas we could restore some value and some, you know, into this community or slash network or slash family tribe or slash, you know, this movement. You know what I mean? Because I'm really not about salvaging what is known as the conscious community. I feel that might it itself run its course, and there's nothing wrong with that because we're in a new day and time as it is. The great reset already happened. We're in the midst of the great reset. So why would we be driving the same car that we pulled up in 20 years ago? You know what I mean? It's time to remix it, change clothes. And you know, I'm not even big on titles anymore. You know what I mean? Because when you define something, you actually diminish it. You know what I'm saying? I'm with going with just the energy. I'm with just pulling up and doing what needs to be done. And then with a chip, let the chips fall where they may. And we could decide and define it when it has a definitive role in our lives.
That's a fact, you know, and I think that's what we got grown accustomed to doing prematurely. We got accustomed to, you know, already labeling something that we define based on our own fractured perception, because we don't even allow things to grow before we even define what it is. You know, even I'll go as far as to say hip hop won't be completely defined for another 100 years. We won't see hip hop come full circle for another 100 years. So we're just seeing increments of what we're defining as hip hop, but hip hop hasn't came full circle yet. You know what I'm saying? And time is central. You know, it's what's that word? What's the word that I'm looking for? It's centripetal. So time moves. You know, history always repeats itself, and as it continues to repeat itself, it's like a spiral. So every time it transcends its last step, you know, the aesthetics is a little different. So, you know, we can't really begin to label things until we see things come full circle. And like Red said, the demonstration in and of itself is what's going to allow the people then to define what it represents. So, like you said, the people are going to add the value to it. It's not even going to be nothing tangible. It's just going to be descriptions, explanations, receipts. You know, people going to a friend and explaining, damn, like I see, you know, Red and ALKEBULAN in person, it was doing, you know, a lecture or whatever, and they ain't even have a title for it. They just pulled up and gave up some solid, high level scientific information, and you know that was it. You know, so people are going to begin to define, and we have to allow people to define things based on their own individual perspective, as opposed to prematurely defining something, because, like Red said, that almost devalues, you know, the situation. So. Yeah, man, you know, we just, again, are in a situation to really begin to restructure, you know, what we call the conscious community, because like we said, there needs to be checks and balances. You know, there needs to be a reward system set up, a penalty system set up. So that way, again, like we can wean out the ones who are the fake and really honor and commemorate the ones who are really doing the work. Right. And even go as far as to patterning the you know, the community from a, you know, a comedic perspective, you know, because they would have rites of passage, you know, they would have to go through certain rituals in order to receive a certain level of information. You know, they had to do things to be privy to a certain level of info, you know, because again, there has to be a checks and balances. So there has to be a test system set up. Like, are you intellectually, you know, defined enough to be able to not only keep, you know, a certain level of information among yourself, but are you able to, you know, does your brain have the capacity to be able to retain the information? Because if you can retain the information, then you can present it. When you can present it, then you can teach it. When you teach it, then you can demonstrate it and then eventually master it and bring it back full circle. So that way you got hundreds of your students now also as well on the same level as you. So, you know,
Right. We wouldn't even have this conversation if we didn't identify the wealth amongst us, right? If we did not identify those amongst us who deserve a shot to be taken seriously, right? To not be, you know, trying to shine within the midst of the muck and mire or the septic tank that is called the conscious community. If we did not see the worth of the newer generation coming up, if we did not see the worth of the brothers and sisters in the audience, in the way that y'all are able to retain information and demonstrate it in real time, in the way that you're living your lives, right? You're living the lifestyle. This is a lifestyle now. This is not just, oh, I'm gonna catch you at the lecture next weekend and whatnot. You know, I'm pull up, my brother. We gonna check, fill out it. No, this has become a lifestyle where people are feeding the baby in the womb, right? The seed and the star seed in the womb is getting the downloads. You dig what I'm saying? And then when the star seed is born and manifest on this realm and whatnot, that, you know, there's a breast milk, there's a baby formula shortage. You know, that has nothing to do with us because the majority of people I know is breastfeeding and whatnot. You know, so the mothers are breastfeeding, the fathers are working, you know, arduously on their craft and whatnot. You know what I mean? People are teaching their children homeschooling and whatnot, and they're picking out the curriculum. They're not following the westernized mandates of what it is that the educational system, how it hypnotized and programmed us and whatnot. They're breaking that generational curse by saying, now I'm teaching my baby, my 3-year-old metaphysics, fam. You feel me? From the gate, I'm teaching them Kabbalah at 4. Because we know that they can retain it because they're teaching it to the aspect of their memory that already knows the shit. You know what I mean? That was one of the tenets of, there was a parent of one of these children who went to college at 12 and whatnot. And they were interviewing the parent and they asked the parent, well, what was the angle that you taught your child all of this information? And they said, basically, I was reminding them, I was dealing with a level of reminding them and tapping into their memory, because it's of my understanding they already know this information. You know what I'm talking about? It's already inside of them. So they were tapping into the DNA memory and whatnot and bringing that forward. They was like, the child did not need to learn anything external. They already had it in them. I'm like, damn. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and I just veggie back off you really quick. Professor Kaba told me that, you know, back in 2017, we spoke on the phone for about a good 2 hours. For those who don't know, Professor Kama, formerly known as Booker T.
Coleman.
Right, Booker T. Coleman. You know, we spoke and he was telling me basically there's a difference between being a teacher and being an educator. A teacher is somebody basically who takes, you know, information that, you know, has been recycled through for years and impresses it on you. And you're then supposed to retain the information and then regurgitate it on a test for a grade.
Right.
The information doesn't have to be qualified. It can be false information.
Could be bullshit. Christopher Columbus. I'm sorry. You know, you black people, you didn't contribute shit. You know what I mean? There's a whole 3 posters of black inventors from the 1800s, but they don't even teach you that on Black History Month, family. They giving you King, Obama, and Oprah. They're not even giving you the black inventors, but please continue.
Yeah, no. So, you know, what he was telling me, you know, that's what a teacher is. But an educator is somebody who basically takes what's already within you and pulls it out. You see, an educator is somebody who stimulates that already encoded information that's naturally within your DNA and has the capacity to know how to bring it out. So on the live earlier, we were speaking on aesthetics. We're speaking on clothing, merchandise. And I was hitting on the fact that, you know, these individuals who are creating art through clothing, is that's a form of hieroglyphics. That's a form of artistry because they're creating ancient iconography. And ancient iconography is based on sacred geometry. Right. And sacred geometry, our minds are hardwired to be impressed and to, be geared towards observing that specific mathematics in reference to a specific ratio. And sacred geometry follows the ratio of the 1.618. So when you see something in symmetry, we define that as beauty, because in nature, that will be considered the golden ratio. So when you have certain individuals creating ancient iconography, naturally, our brains are hardwired to look at it. But as our ancestors designed the hieroglyphs, they understood the hieroglyphs was a light language. A light language based on alphabetical symmetry of light has the capacity to literally speak directly to the genetics. So when we're rocking, the Ankh clothing and shout out to Ancient Homage, shout out to the Yard, shout out to the Ghetto Gods, all these individuals who, put this artistry together through clothes, that ancient iconography is stimulating that interest of the information that's already, again, encoded within us and bringing it to the conscious mind. So these individuals, they're educators, right? They're educators. They don't have to be on stage and speaking in a mic. They can literally be designing clothes that is going to stimulate that information that's in you and bring it to the surface. And that's the definition of an educator.
And when I, shout out to you for that. They want to know if you got a Shopify too, bro. They feeling the hat and the glasses. You know what I'm talking about? They want to know if there's an ALKEBULAN Shopify store.
It's coming.
When I brought Kings County to Harlem in 2006, I was in the midst of my studying, right? I was knee deep into early stage consciousness and whatnot. And I was enamored by ancient Kemet. Like, I was blown away. I had one of those big museum books and whatnot that was giving me the full visuals of, the great ancestors and whatnot, and all of their trinkets and things of that nature. Like you said, just the sacred geometry, the Djed pillar, you know what I mean? The right here, the Kepra, you know what I mean? All of these things were just speaking to my heart. And I had to basically gas myself up and really put myself out there to put these motifs on clothing and whatnot, and put it on a table and have the testicular fortitude to stand up against the blowback. Because in 2006, me personally, I'm only speaking about me because I had an ego about who I thought I was, right? I thought I was twin, you know what I mean? I thought I was Phil Figure, you know what I mean? I thought I was this person who always was wearing Ralph Lauren, and then I graduated to wearing like Versace and Iceberg and, Moschino, D&G, and all of it was stolen. So there was a chip on my shoulder about that. Yeah, I didn't buy this shit. You know what I'm saying? We Debo this, so it's my reparations, And to stand out there and sell clothing that wasn't from a European and whatnot, that wasn't strong armed out of, you know what I mean? That I had to tell people I made this. You feel me? And this symbol right here, like, I want you to learn about this. This, here's the DVD to go with it. You know what I mean? Like, I was selling accompanying educational pieces to go with the clothing. There wasn't smart clothing back then, but if there was, I would have had it on the inside tag to where you could just scan your phone, your QR, and that should have taken you to a lecture. You remember? Because I was like, I want y'all to learn what I'm learning. And then I'm wearing it as well. And I know how to put it together and whatnot. So, it was a very arduous uphill battle. You know what I mean? I was swimming upstream and whatnot. And it was like 2007 or 8. I was, we used to sell right outside of a Dr. J's, right? They called the store Harlem. It was a Dr. J's. And I got on the block one day and Brother Sutek was like, I got to show you this. And we went inside of the store, and the clothing brand Academics had Heru holding a boombox, right? At that point, I knew that I broke through.
I remember that. Yeah.
I was like, it's a touchdown. That's the breakthrough. That they have, imitation is the highest form of flattery and whatnot. I'm like, my impact on the streets is so severe that Roberto Cavalli, the Academics, which was a clothing brand that I highly looked up to, Sean John and a few other peoples decided that they were going to take the ancient motifs of ancient Kemet and make that shit a wave, right? Made it a wave, my nigga. So people were like, you should be mad at that. I'm like, how, Sway? You know what I'm talking about?
How, Sway?
I'm be mad at that.
Back to go.
It's bigger than me. That's when your ego is involved. I'm like, ultimately, these brands have reach that I don't have. These brands have thousands of doors and whatnot, globally, nationwide, regional wide. There's knuckle draggers in fucking in the backwoods of whatever, walking around wearing this shit. And regardless of what it is that they know about it or not, it doesn't mean anything. It's sparking the subconscious of the next knuckle dragger that's watching them standing on the couch while they leaning on some fucking some opiates and whatnot. And you don't know what their dream state is going to be. You don't know what that's doing to their subconsciousness. You have no idea whatsoever. Fast forward, now we have millions of people who look like us who are now awoke. Right? Even if they're either woke or awoken, you know, these are those same crop of people who, you know, they were just throwing shit on because their subconsciousness was like, that shit is fly. And now you have the permission to wear. We talking about some hardcore Christians where everything Egyptian was satanic to them. You know what I mean? These niggas was head to toe in King Tut gear.
That's a fact. And I can even attest to that. I remember that, you know, because we would, you know, we will rock the Academics, the Coogee, the Nietzsche, you know, the LRG was hot back then. But what I noticed too, like I said, was, you know, they started to follow the blueprint of creating the aesthetics that look just like Kemet. So I remember specifically having that shirt, that Academic shirt, where you know, it had the Heru on the front, the eagle. Because they had one in a white shirt with the gray eagle, gray and black eagle, and then they had one that was the eagle that was red, white, and blue. You know, so I remember specifically that, and thinking back, I'm just like, damn, they was really jacking that, you know, that vibe. But like, I would say this too, when I ran across you in blue years ago, you know, that's what attracted me to you in blue, because you guys had the look as far as with the Kemet. I remember specifically y'all had the sweater, or no, it was the jacket on the sleeve, and it had King Tut on it.
Barrelhead, yeah.
And it was embroidery. And I was
like a varsity, right, yeah, the varsity.
I was like, where'd they get that? Yeah, the jacket, married the varsity jacket. So that I was like, yeah, like that's the drip. Like you know what I'm saying? And again, this is back when, you know, it was easy to get dressed, because on the mannequin they would have a whole Coogee suit, from the jeans to the jacket to the shirt, and you know, we would get the whole you know, the whole outfit. But now, you know, since, you know, we've acquired a lot more taste in clothing and things of that nature, and we're artists, you know, we can put things together and make it look good. You know, but yeah, you know, all these companies, they were patterning their you know, they started patterning the aesthetics from, you know, ancient Kemet. But like I said, you guys were the first ones that I seen with the aesthetic of Kemet on the clothes, and I thought that shit was like mad fire.
Yeah, I got picked up by Fader magazine. There's an issue with Lil Wayne on the cover. This was 2007. I remember specifically because it was right before my son was born, and they came to Harlem and interviewed me. We went to Central Park because at that time I was at J Records / Polo Ground Music and whatnot. We did the full interview. They came to Harlem. They took pictures of my hoodie with the tut on the side of it. They did a whole profile on me. But wow. Fader magazine is what other quote unquote, you know, it was like a highlight for the streetwear. So other brands go to magazines like Fader magazine to find out what's the next wave and whatnot. So exactly a year later in 2008, that's when I started to see the whole wave of these of the cultural motifs on these quote unquote name brand companies, multi-million-dollar companies and whatnot. And they, you know, they vicariously help to spread the message, because the message is by any means necessary. However, these colors or these symbols show up, it don't matter what brand is pushing it. We just need the symbol to show up. So it could be on the chest or the back or the hood or the hat or the goddamn the two back pockets of whatever fucking clothing our people are wearing, because man make the clothes don't make the man. You know what I'm talking about? They don't make us. So when somebody is considered to be a knuckle dragger, puts on some clothes that have royalty embossed all over it, rather than wearing something that says hell or death, or I hate myself, or how niggas was wearing Sesame Street, and they was out there hustling, selling crack. Sesame Street with bangers, the Sesame Street drillers, snap, crackle, and pop, and they was out there pimping and whatnot. These niggas had on long furs. Niggas was showing up at their mama's house wearing shit like that, looking mad crazy. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? They was looking super, super, super ugly in these streets. So just to reverse it like that, I mean, come on now. You know what I mean? Like, remember, uniformity is a form of unity. You know what I'm saying? Uniformity means a lot. You do get judged by your uniform, whether you receive that or not. You do get judged by the shit that you throw on. You know what I mean? Right. It has a lot to do. We speak out against the felony look.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Frequency. Yeah,
low frequency.
Super low frequency. There's a uniform that goes with low frequency, and that's the felony look. And if you consider yourself to be of a certain level, or you're enlightened and whatnot, and you see yourself and you see value in yourself, you see value not only in yourself, but in your bloodline, you see value in your last name, you see value in your lineage, my nigga, you should be in a bespoke suit at the end of the day. You should be tailored. You know what I'm talking about? You should be clean from head to toe, or you should be rocking all of the threads and whatnot that reflect that. And they don't have to be something that you made. If your brethren them and the people who are out here that are on similar frequencies or higher frequencies are out here putting in their work and putting that art out and whatnot, why are you running to jump in something European from Milan? You know what I mean? Some nut huggers from Milan and whatnot, when that don't even represent the finest of you. That's not designer. You know what I'm talking about? They lied to you, my nigga. That's not designer. Designer is some shit that they make in Africa.
Right. And they price that shit high, and that's what gets us
super high.
And I want to say too, those who are developing, creating their their merchandise, don't be scared to price that shit high. Like, really value your shit. Like, to me, if I go on a site and I see like a local like a designer or somebody who's trying to come up developing merchandise, like I'm a give ancient homage. I'm gonna use them as an example. The level of detail, quality, the level of attention they give to their clothes. Like, if I came out and seen them price one of their sweaters at like $300, $350, like, to me personally, like, I honor that. Like, that's, because what that's telling me is that they really see the value in their clothes, and they're like, if you are fit to wear, this piece of, art, you know what I'm saying? And you got the wherewithal to be able to represent it as such, then you're going to pay top dollar for it. You know what I'm saying? Like that, Factory. To me, that looks, and again, we'll spend $350 on a t-shirt, from Fendi or something like that. But, when it comes to, us and us creating merchandise and things of that nature,
right.
Like, don't
Some
be scared.
raw Omar.
Yeah, don't be scared to price that shit high, because again, we're valuable people. That's first, So if you got super galactic God, Heru, Hotep, El, whatever individuals, you want to make sure that the clothes that we got on too, define that as such. But you want to also as well make sure that you make the clothes don't make you. So it doesn't matter what type of outfit you got on, people gonna see that and be like, oh shit, they bringing back academics because so-and-so got it on. Oh shit, right. They got back Coogee because so-and-so got it on. That's the position you want to be in, you know what I'm saying? So that's important.
Well, I know that you have some things that you need to take care of and whatnot. You have some business to handle, I'm gonna let you leave our audience with some last words of encouragement and
Okay.
enlightenment. You know what I mean? So let them know what it do.
Yeah. So, of course, tomorrow at 11 a.m., tap into the class, Prophetic Remedies and Celestial Divinities, 11 a.m. So the link is in my bio to purchase a ticket. The link is in Red's bio to purchase a ticket.
It's in the description of this video right here. Right in the
Okay.
description.
Right. And so, again, this is top floor decor. Like we're, taking it upstairs. It's information that's very scientific, and I deliver it as such, because I understand how the brain itself works more specifically. And, of course, the brain is a crystal. And when the brain goes and processes a certain level of information that's hard to comprehend, and you're like, oh, I don't get this shit. Like the brain is actually activating what you call adaptive stress response pathways. And that actually leads to a larger neural network. So as you're sitting there compressing this level of information in your brain and you don't get it, it's okay, because the brain is actually being activated by way of it going under a level of cognitive stress. So I do just that. And that's just a piece of why I deliver the information that I do. But I also, again, want to attribute value to ourselves and get us to really understand who we are as a people. Like we are very, very monumental people. And, I want us to be able to be privy to certain information that we hold sacred to ourselves. Our ancestors in Kemet, they would scribe things on a wall for those who only have the genetic memory to be able to encode it and see it for what it is. So, that's the type of information that I want to give. And I want it to be ours alone exclusively. You know what I'm saying? So we going into the bag tomorrow, 11 a.m., again, a very super metaphysical conversation. Red's going to open up with the virus of vicarious experience. And we're going to just touch on all bases, man. It's going to be a monumental bill, $1 billion, $1 trillion worth of information. And you don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. So
the third in a series of classes that we've been doing as a bonus for the ticket holders. You receive the first class that we've done as a bonus. You get that. That's about 4 hours. The title of that is Soulmatic in the
illest to bring the static.
Illest to bring the static. That part. To this day. You know what I mean? Soulmatic and the illest to bring the static. And also you'll get the tickets for tomorrow AM. Once you get the tickets, you don't have anything else to worry about. You don't gotta like wait for an email. Or it's there for you. You get alerted when the class is about to begin, and it's recorded, so you get a copy of that recording either later on in the day, or by Sunday and whatnot. So we just raising the bar, and we are carrying on tradition, right? Making our master teachers happy with us, making our ancestors pleased and whatnot, making them comfortable, knowing that if they did want to just, sit it down, go to an island somewhere and just relax and whatnot, they know that somebody is going to carry this shit with integrity and whatnot. And we're going to value those who come before us, and we're going to set the stage for those who are coming after us. So,
right. And I will say this, every class that we've had 3 so far. We have 3, right? 2 so far. This will be the third. So even down to the titles of the class, again, the first class was Soulmatic and the illest to bring the static. The second class was Illustrious Illumination. This class is Prophetic Remedies and Celestial Divinities. Like I name these things in these classes a certain way for a specific reason. Like the shit sound like movie titles, but that's just how I think. I want them to sound like whole. You know what I'm saying? I want the lecture to be an experience. I want it to be, again, like as if you're because I remember when I was younger and I would go to the store, and it's when they were selling CDs and albums and shit like that. I would go to the store and I would look forward to be able to break open the seal and like open the case and then take out the CD and then take the book out and then flip through the book and look at the pictures and like the whole
ritual, right? The whole ritual.
The whole ritual of it. You know what I'm saying? So I specifically name these titles of these classes this way for that reason. It's an experience. And like I said in the live that we did earlier, I'm just becoming the teacher that I've always wanted to see. You know what I'm saying? And I've studied under so many people and been into so many schools of thoughts that at this moment right now, as I'm continuing to refine myself as a teacher, or better yet, as an educator, I'm patterning it, off our elders and, off a lot of, the ones who made transition. So, with that being said, the information that you guys will be getting tomorrow at 11 a.m. is going to be super monumental. It's going to be life-changing. I'm telling you, it's information that you're not privy to in the public eye per se, but I've done my due diligence for so many years, studied, and I want to deliver you guys something very monumental. So get your tickets in the bio, in the description below in this video. Red got the link in his bio on IG. And yeah, we'll see you in class tomorrow.
Yeah, man. With that being said, the brother said what he said, I'm talking about. And I said what I said, we're honored to have our students amongst us, the KT aliens. Salute to everybody that's been following us, that's been upgrading off of the information, and we look forward to delivering our next installment mañana. Okay. So with that being said, I extended the olive branch to anybody in Atlanta who wants to tap into some plant-based healing today. My information. My email will be redpillar75@protonmail. Reach out, redpillar, PILLAR 75, the number, at protonmail.com. And the link for tomorrow's class is in the description. And it's also on IG, but if you don't have it, it's KTLUniversity.com. You'll see this flyer right there, and boom, you're Gucci. Okay. So with that being said, I'm going to let the rest of y'all get on with your day, the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe out there. Keep your head on swivel. Stay dangerous. Mars is in Aries. Avoid conflict, arguments, unnecessary, friction and whatnot, because, you don't want to get in the way of that energy. Okay. There's a lot of smoke in these streets right now. So you want to just lay low and avoid that shit. You know what I mean? The goal is to get home safe. So, stay dangerous, you know what I'm saying? And, but definitely stay learning. Okay. Stay learning, stay tapped in. That's very important. Stay tapped in, and we'll see you tomorrow in